Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the return of the Lyons Den Quiz League for season number 12. We are back not too long after the end of season 11, and we've got 7 more quizzes here in week number 1. Massive thanks in advance to Saluna, Physics, Rasmus, Yertle, and Tezzy for contributing to the first week's quizzes, and of course to Saluna in general and everybody else who helps with the creation of this. It is so fun to play this week in and week out, and just, yeah, the effort does not go unnoticed. So massive thanks to them. We will start week number 1. There are no standings right now for whatever reason, so we can't see anything. But the first quiz is general knowledge, as always, and it is called Silence. First of all, in what Terry Jones directed film does a hermit hold a vow of silence until the titular character breaks the hermit's foot? This 1979 British surreal biblical black comedy was funded by former Beatle George Harrison after EMI Films pulled funding just days before production was scheduled to begin. I have no idea what this is. And, I've thought about it for a while, as I do with some of these questions, and I really just don't have an answer for this. I'm going to say The Wicker Man, because this is a film that exists, but I think it's like something about like a pagan cult with like Christopher Lee, which is totally not what's being described here. But to be quite honest, I can't think of a good answer, so I'm just giving up. Spinalonga, an island in the Gulf of Ilunda and opposite the town of Plaka, became a refuge for Muslim families before becoming a leper colony in the early 20th century. Spinalonga had previously been maintained as a fortress under Venetian rule for several hundred years. In which country is this island, nicknamed the Island of Silence, located? So, to be honest, when I read the first sentence of this, I thought it was fictional. All of this sound like Gulf of Ilunda and Spinalonga didn't even sound real. But it is apparently a real place. I have not heard of it before. The best guess I can come up with, Plaka in particular sounds kind of Greek to me, and then Spinalonga and Elunda, the OU letter combo could work for Greek as well. So I'm going to say Greece, but it doesn't have to be. There are other options here. It could be like, I don't know, like Croatia or Turkey or something, but I'm thinking it's hopefully at least Mediterranean, given it's like Venetian and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It sounds vaguely Greek, so that's what I'm going off of. But it's not. I'm not super confident about that. Number 3. What is the term for low frequency acoustic vibrations below the lower limit of human audibility, generally around 20 hertz? The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's program concerning this field of study uses these types of acoustic waves as an early warning sign for avalanches and tornadoes in remote locations. So I don't know. I'm going to say subsonic because I think that this is a word that exists. And it could mean this. Sub obviously being below normal frequency. So yeah, I think it's a decent guess, but this is just not a term that I know off the top of my head. Number 4, the novel's protagonist Paul is killed on a remarkably peaceful day, with his corpse displaying a calm expression as though almost glad that the end had come. The end had come. In which 1928 semi-autobiographical anti-war novel? Throughout the novel, Paul and his comrades face the loss of their youth while encountering horror after horror in the trenches of the Great War, after falling for the jingoistic speeches of their teacher Kantorek. So I thought about this one for a bit because I wasn't sure. I have a guess, and I don't think I'm going to come up with a better guess than this, but All Quiet on the Western Front is definitely about World War I, and it's definitely anti-war, and I think it kind of fits the clues. Kantorek sounds familiar to me, but I can't place it, and I can't remember if it's from that book or if it's from something else that I'm not remembering the name of, but I'm just going to say this because I'm not going to come up with a better answer. Number 5, who published several works in the New England Courant, a newspaper founded and published by his brother James under the pen name Silence Dogood. This first Postmaster General of the U.S., among more notable roles, began using the pen name after he was denied several times when he tried to publish letters under his real name, which was, of course, Benjamin Franklin. Silence Dogood letters feature notably in the National Treasure movie, which is a classic. But yeah, that is one of the pen names that Ben Franklin used. And finally, what is the name of the 1952 modernist composition by American composer John Cage that instructs performers not to play their instruments throughout the 3 movements lasting 30 seconds, 2 minutes 23 seconds, and 1 minute and 40 seconds, respectively? It's called 4:33, 4 minutes 33 seconds. Helps that I knew that going in, but if you don't know it, you could theoretically get it by just adding up the lengths of time in the question. Although, to be fair, if you haven't heard of it, it's still probably going to be pretty hard to come up with the exact answer. So for that reason, I will enhance it because I don't think it's easy. I think Franklin is knowable. And the rest of these, I don't feel very good about. I think I have, Greece, I think, is a decently high probability guess. Subsonic could be right. All Quiet on the Western Front, I feel okay about as well. 1 is almost certainly wrong, but Yeah, I think 6 is my best bet here. So we'll see. All right. So infrasound, that's unfortunate. So it's like kind of the right idea, but not the right thing. Life of Brian makes sense. It's not a film that I've ever seen, though, so I wouldn't have got it. Grease was correct, though, as was All Quiet on the Western Front. So that's 4 out of 6. Gonna have to edit the video because the freaking thing showed my email and stuff, which is annoying, but whatever. Um, anyway, 4 out of 6, not so bad for general knowledge to start the season. I feel decent about that. Infrasound, I don't know, maybe that's gettable, but I don't know. I think my guess was reasonable as well, so it's just unfortunate. So we head to quiz 2, which is sequences written by physics. What comes forth in this sequence? Venezuela 8, Tajikistan 7, Australia 6, and blank. It took me a second, but I realized that this is the number of stars on the flags of these countries. Venezuela has 8, etc. So we're looking for a country with 5 stars on its flag. China will work just fine for this. So China 5. What comes forth here? Blue, black, hold your head. Gray, heart attack, stay in bed. Don't care about you, never looking back. Watch the walls instead. The thing that clued me in was watch the walls instead because it's kind of a more distinct lyric than the rest of them. But this is the lyrics to Friday I'm in Love by The Cure. I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's gray, and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love. I don't care if Monday's black, Tuesday, Wednesday, heart attack, Thursday, never looking back. Monday, you can hold your head. Tuesday, Wednesday, stay in bed. Thursday, watch the walls instead. Anyway, Friday, I'm in love. I should actually say Friday. I'm just going to say I'm in love. Can you do enter? You can't. Okay. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm going to do it 3 times because it should, I think, be there 3 times since we're doing the lyrics of all the things. But anyway, it's Friday. I'm in love is what he says every time. So that is what's going on here. What comes forth? Spain and South Africa, Germany and Brazil, France and Russia. So these are the winners of the World Cups starting in 2010 and going forward. So Spain won the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, Germany in 2014 in Brazil, France 2018 in Russia, and then Argentina in Qatar in 2022. This one's bugging me because I can't figure out the answer. I spent a while on it. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and give up because I don't know. Thought about it for long enough and I don't know what's going on. I was thinking, I mean, it could be something that's like a set of 8 or a set of 12 or something because it's like we're on the right side. So I was thinking it could be like a calendar, right? Like hidden is December and lazy is September and new is April. You know what I mean? But that didn't really get me anywhere. Not April, whatever. You get the idea. June. It's not months because I mean I'm thinking it could be like etymologies of something, but I just can't think of what it is. I've just been kind of stumped by this, so I'm just gonna say old in the top right and hope that I get lucky. But yeah, I don't actually know what's happening. Number 5, what comes forth? Freddie Thermometer, Birth of Williams, Down to Ling, etc. So this one took me a bit, but this was very satisfying once it clicked. So what clicked was Freddie Mercury. I mean, I also thought of like Freddie Freeman, the baseball player, but like, you know, not a lot of people spell Freddie with IE. But Freddie Mercury and then Mercury Thermometer, like, oh, that makes sense. So it's kind of like a before and after with the middle removed. Birth of Williams, Birth of Venus, Venus Williams. So we're doing planets down to Earth, Earthling. So we're looking for something that ends in Mars and then something that begins with Mars without the word Mars. So, of course, we have to say Bruno, the bringer of war. And finally, number 6, what comes forth? Clinical pharmacy, bribe taking, and visiting Amman. This one was like bugging me also because it's like, okay, what the heck is this? None of these things make any sense. They're like weird phrases that don't seem to go together at all. Like, are these something that somebody did? Like, what is happening? And a good thing to do when you're doing sequences like this and you don't understand what's going on and it seems nonsensical is to just look for wordplay. And so I looked for wordplay and I was like, what could we be doing here? And then I saw alpha, beta, and gamma in the centers of these things. So we're doing Greek letters. And yeah, so I will say Strudel table. I don't know. Whatever. Delta being the fourth letter of the Greek alphabet. So I think this is solid. I'm probably getting 5 out of 6 unless I get really lucky on number 4. But I think I will enhance number 6 because I don't think that most people are going to figure out the whole Greek letters thing, and they'll just be baffled by this because they'll be thinking it's more of a direct trivia clue. I think 5 is not easy either, but Freddie Mercury is maybe a little bit easier to figure out. I don't know what the heck 4 is, and the rest of them I think are a tick easier in difficulty, but not sure. 3 is definitely the easiest, I think. But anyway, happy enough with how this has gone, so I will submit this. And we'll see. All right, any country with 5 stars on its flag, such as China, that works. I'm in love repeated 3 times. That works. Argentina in Qatar, yes. Sun. Dang it. Ah, God, that's so gettable. The etymologies of the noble. Of course, that's what's going on. Of course, that's what's going on. It's the right side of. Of course, man, that is like I don't know how I'm not thinking of that. I'm like trying to think of things that's on the right of like that's just bad. That's like super gettable, and I have no excuse for missing that. It's not. I'm not. Look, it's not easy, but it's like I have to be getting that. That's 100% knowable. 2 things that come before and after the Mars, and then anything with delta in it. So that is indeed 5 out of 6. Should have been 6, but hey, none of these weren't easy. 5 and 6 took me a while to come up with, so I'm still pretty happy with that result. But man, I feel a little bit silly for missing number 4. Okay, quiz 3, pop culture. This is gonna be a mess. I don't know what the heck any of the stuff in this quiz is, but whatever. Number 1, Don't You Forget About Me is the song famously featured during the ending of the movie Breakfast Club in 1985. Don't overthink it. Name the band behind the song. The band is called Simple Minds. I don't know. I just know who sings that song, which is good because I'm not going to get much else in this quiz. The 2019 Academy Award winner for Best Original Song is Duet, featuring what 2 performers? One of them an acclaimed singer with more than 10 Grammy Awards to their name. The other is perhaps better known for their work in film, having directed the movie in question as well as Maestro 2023. Best guess I have here is Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. As in Shallow being the song from A Star is Born. I think it fits the clues. I mean, I didn't know that Bradley Cooper was the director. I didn't know he directed that movie, if that is what happened, but I would believe it. And more than 10 Grammys would check out for Lady Gaga. And 2019 is around when that movie came out. I thought it was probably 18, but it would maybe like it was either late that year or like 2019 awards are for 2018 movies or something. But either way, hopefully this is right. But I'm not super sure about it. Number 3, playing during the end credits of Spider-Man, Hero is arguably the most famous solo work by singer Chad Kroeger. In addition to this inclusion in film history, Mr. Kroeger's distinct voice may remind you of his role as lead singer of what musical act? I don't have the slightest idea. Red Hot Chili Peppers was what I thought to guess, because I don't know the name of the lead singer of that band, and he does have a pretty distinct voice, so we'll try it. Number 4, name the main title theme from Beverly Hills Cop. Composed and performed by Harold Faltermeyer, the title of the song is eponymous to the main protagonist of the movie. The song would later see several homages, including being sampled by the Korean singer Psy, and a 2005 version by a male anthropomorphic member of the Anura taxonomic order. Once again, I don't know what the hell is going on here, like, even a little bit. I'm just going to say Sergeant Smith, and again, just move on with my life, because I don't know what's happening, and I don't know how to get anything out of this question, because I don't know what any of the clues are referring to. Number 5, between songs by Roy Orbison and David Bowie, Pretty Woman is a movie that doesn't lack in the musical department. However, the arguably most iconic song from the movie is the breakup playlist stalwart It Must Have Been Love by what Swedish pop duo consisting of Marie Fredriksson and Per Gessle? Average Rasmus question. Like, again, I don't know what the hell. I no idea. I'm going to say AB. Because ABBA has 4 members and it has 4 letters, so surely a duo would have 2 letters. I cannot name a Swedish musical act that is not ABBA, or like Avicii or Swedish House Mafia, which is obviously wrong. So Yeah, again, absolutely no clue what this is. And then number 6, through the clue provided by Redacted, the police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding. After the trial, Redacted was sent to a lunatic asylum, receiving psychological treatment. So reads the end card to the Chinese censored version of a certain 1999 movie. Western audiences instead got to enjoy an explosive ending featuring anti-capitalist undertones and an excerpt from a mind-blowing song by what alt-rock band? Which, like, I don't even know what the movie is, let alone the band playing like the song in the movie or whatever. Again, I have zero idea what's going on here. Which is a pretty common theme on this quiz. This might be the most lost I've ever felt on an LDQL quiz. But I'm gonna say the Foo Fighters because I don't know. I think that fits the description at least. But again, absolutely no idea. I'm going to enhance number 1 because I'm quite sure that that's right, and it's the only question I feel very confident about. 2, I think is probably right, but it's probably gettable anyway. So, yeah, we'll go with 1 and just forget this quiz ever happened. Oh my God, come on, man. Do I count that one? I'm going to not count it. Okay, Simple Minds, Lady Gaga, and Bradley Cooper. 2 out of 6. Sick. Good talk. Nickelback. Cool. I don't know the name of the lead singer of Nickelback. Axel F. That's that. That's what that is, right? I had no idea that was from Beverly Hills Cop. I have heard the frog thing before, but honestly, even if you asked me to name that song, I still wouldn't have been able to do it. Even if I knew it was that song. Roxette, I have never heard of in my life. I don't know what that is. And then 6, Pixies. I don't think I've heard of that either. I've heard of Fight Club, but what is Pixies? I have no idea what that band is, dude. Like, so lost on this quiz. Like, actually insane. But okay, 2 out of 6 on pop culture. Kind of a killer. Quiz 4. Whole Lotta Red. The album pictured was made by what artist? The album was central to the creation of Rage, a subgenre of trap. Other originators of the genre are Trippie Redd, XXXTentacion, and Lil Uzi Vert. I believe this is Playboy Carti. I think that's how you spell his name. This was like Armani's profile picture for a really long time. And I just eventually, I don't know, I feel like it got talked about enough that I eventually just learned the name of the dude on this album cover, even though I don't know anything about the music. But I think that's who this is. Number 2, whose name should be Essie, whatever, has been covered on the Velvet Underground and Nico album Pictured. The print of the banana was made by this man, and on early albums it was a sticker with a light pink banana underneath. If it's if you say Velvet Underground, I say Andy Warhol, and if it's wrong, then tough, but I feel like it has to be. It's just, I don't know, that's just who that is associated with. So I figure this is Andy Warhol. Number 3, name anyone pictured in the back row of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover who isn't Bob Dylan. Honestly, I mean, I could zoom into this if you guys want to like see it better or whatever. Bob Dylan's the one on the right. To be 100% honest, I only recognize one of the people here, but that's a lot better than 0 because I only need one. The guy in the middle with the mustache, I believe, is Edgar Allan Poe. And yeah, that's all I need. In the art for the Amon Amarth album, Twilight of the Thunder God, Thor is fighting what creature? This fight, foretold to happen during Ragnarok, will result in both Thor and the creature's death. This is the World Serpent, or let me see if I can remember how to. There we go. Yeah, Jormungandr is the Norse name for the serpent. I'm guessing like World Serpent is acceptable, but people probably won't say that anyway because I don't know. Most people probably won't know what this is called. I think this is a fairly deep cut for Norse mythology, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's more well known than I think. But yeah, that's just the serpent that Thor fights at Ragnarok. Number 5, the cover art for Joy Division's album Unknown Pleasures is a ridgeline plot of the radio waves of what type of astronomical object? The ridgeline plot represents data from the first discovered radio, one of these things whose radio waves Earth receives every 1.3373 seconds. So in space, something that is, regularly like sending waves, every, fixed amount of seconds or whatever makes me think of pulsar. I mean, I don't know that this is right, but that just kind of feels right with the whole like intermittent, like, you know what I mean. That just makes me think of a pulsar. And then finally, number 6, name either of the two artists whose nicknames title the album pictured below. Both were pioneers of bebop. One played an extremely bent instrument with puffed cheeks, and the other composed Billy's Bounce and Coco. Honestly, not super sure who one of them is, but the instrument with puffed cheeks is Dizzy Gillespie's famous trumpet, the bent trumpet. So I'm pretty sure that's that. I should know. I mean, the other guy, I don't know. He looks familiar. Maybe it's just like like it's a sax. I don't know. Is it like is it Louis Armstrong or Charlie Parker? Or I'm honestly I'm not sure. But yeah, one of them's Dizzy Gillespie, and that is all I need. So I think I will enhance Jormungandr because I think that's just not something that most people would know. 6 is maybe good to enhance too because I think people's jazz knowledge probably isn't great, but neither is mine to be fair, and I still know it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. Hopefully that's the right thing to enhance, but I feel pretty good about this quiz, certainly in comparison to the last one. So we shall see. Playboy Cardi, Andy Warhol, Edgar Allan Poe, that works. Jormungandr, or except World Serpent and Midgard Serpent, Pulsar, and it is Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. So that is 6 out of 6. That is a nice bounce back from quiz number 3. Quite happy with that one. I mean, everything there was, I knew most of those fairly quickly, so I'm happy with myself for that. And yeah, we'll head to quiz 5, which is about UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Sometimes nicknamed the Venice of its ocean, the archaeological site of Nan Madol was once the capital of the Sodalor dynasty and consists of a series of 92 artificial islets constructed offshore from the island of Pohnpei. That island now serves as one of the 4 states that make up what modern-day country, whose largest city is Ueno. This is the Federated States of Micronesia, the other states being Yap, Koshai, and bloody hell. Oh my god, Chuk, that's the other one. Number 2, oh, where'd that go? What usually reddish dye made from dried and powdered leaves of the Lawsonia inermis plant traces its earliest usage to ancient Egypt and Babylon. Though its applications across many cultures has included dyeing hair and fingernails, it is perhaps most frequently used to decorate the skin before festive events such as weddings, a process known as mendi in the Indian subcontinent. Reddish dye for decoration of various things. I just think of henna. I'm pretty sure that's what this is, unless there's another one that I'm unaware of, but should be right. Number 3, the Indonesian practice of wayang, the Korean practice of dolmi, and the Japanese practice of bunraku all involve the use of what objects? A UNESCO-inducted practice in Cambodia uses these objects in a retelling of their national epic, the Riamker. These should be puppets. I feel like Bunraku is probably a lot more well-known than the other ones in here, because I don't know what the other ones are, but Bunraku is Japanese puppet plays, so that should be right as well. Consisting of a picturesque series of two-foot lakes and waterfalls amidst a karst landscape, Plitvice Lakes is the largest national park within which country? Another city in this country is home to Diocletian's Palace, to which the old emperor retired to cultivate cabbages after becoming the first to voluntarily abdicate from his position. I don't know if that's like Dubrovnik or Split or whatever, but anyway, Plitvice Lakes is in Croatia. Very, very cool place. Definitely a place I would like to see one day. Number 5, the Bandiagara Escarpment is a sandstone cliff formation once inhabited by the Telem, but presently the Dogon people in which country? Another UNESCO World Heritage Site in this country is the largest adobe brick building in the world and features protruding rhodiola palm sticks called toron, which serve as both decoration and scaffolding in the event of repairs. So I'm thinking that this is Mali. Like, I don't feel great about this because I don't actually know about the Bandiagara Escarpment, and I feel like I should have seen pictures of this before. My first thought was like Ethiopia or something, but then I read the whole clue about the adobe brick building with protruding sticks, and that really just strongly reminds me of Mali, like the whatever it is, whether it's the Great Mosque of Djenné or Timbuktu or whichever one it is. All of the famous buildings in Mali kind of look like that, the mosques and things. So I figure that's what's happening. I just am not aware of this particular site, so it kind of spooks me, but I think that's what I'm going to go with anyway. And then finally, number 6, the sarcophagus of Ajau Pakal the Great provides one of the most richly decorated reliefs left by the Maya and has been subject of much pseudo-archaeological speculation about ancient astronauts. His tomb can be found at the site of Palenque, now located in what southern Mexican state, whose capital is Tuxtla, or Tuxtla Gutierrez. This is Chiapas. And And I think I will enhance that one because I think it's not trivial. I mean, if you're a lot of GeoGuessr players are playing this, to be fair, but I think your average trivia person will find this a little bit more difficult, the geographical knowledge, than the rest of them, I would think. So that is what I will go with. And hopefully that'll be 6 out of 6, but we'll see. Micronesia, Henna, Puppets, Croatia, Mali, Chiapas. That is 6 out of 6 indeed. Happy with the result there. Let's do 6 out of 6s in a row. Let's keep it going. Quiz 6. I'm not going to get 6 out of 6 here, though. The equation pictured below is often called the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. The right-hand side is a constant number, and the left-hand side is the products of the uncertainties of two physical properties represented by the x and the p. What are these two physical properties? So... Oh. No, okay, sorry. I was thinking that I misread this, but I don't think I did. Position and momentum is, I believe, the two things, like you cannot know the position and momentum of a particle at the same time or whatever, that is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. I used to think it was position and velocity, but it would come up in Quiz Bowl and people would be like, no, it's momentum, not velocity. So I think P represents momentum, so I think that checks out, and X is position, so it should work. Number 2, what 3-letter logical operator is defined by the truth table below? So, like, it's false if they're both false, and it's false if they're both true, and it's only true if one of them is true. I don't know what the hell this is. Like, I don't know what's going on. This is not something I've ever learned. This is, I guess, more of a computer science thing. But, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be like or something, but it's not or. So, like, I'm going to say nor, maybe, because it's 3 letters. But I feel like it's not. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's even a logical operator. I mean, like, I don't know logical operators. I don't even know what a freaking logical operator is, to be quite honest. So, yeah, I'm just going to say nor and move on with my life. But it's probably not the right thing, but I just don't know what it is. What word is used to define a molecule that is not identical to its mirror image? The word derives from the Greek for hand because the right and left hand of humans display this property. It's just chiral, chirality. So it's like the left and right isomers or whatever, like the whole, I guess, thalidomide being the famous example given by Walter White in Breaking Bad. Number 4, the fundamental theorem of arithmetic states that every number is either prime or what other kind of number that can be represented uniquely as a product of prime numbers. In chemistry, this term can also refer to a material made from different constituent materials. Numbers are either prime or composite, so I have to assume that's what's going on here. A composite number is just a number that isn't prime. Well, at least a whole number. Number 5, while there are numerous more exotic types, what ubiquitous electrical component is divided mostly between 2 types, FETs and BJTs. I've never heard of FETs and BJTs. If you asked me what they were, I probably would have guessed that they're political parties. But yeah, the FET and BJT, they both end in T, so I'm thinking the component probably starts with a T, so I'm just going to say transistor and hope that that's right. And then finally, number 6, the peripheral nervous system is divided into 2 parts, one that allows for voluntary control of muscle, and one that is involuntary. What is either term used to define these divisions? I have no idea what's going on here. Like, involuntary muscle movement sounds like a spasm to me, so I'm going to say spasmodic, because that is the adjectival form of spasm, and just hope that that's what the word is, but I don't know. And yeah, for enhancing, it's interesting. I may actually enhance position momentum because I feel like if you haven't heard the specific like formulation of the uncertainty principle or whatever, you won't know that it's momentum unless you know that like P is momentum. I feel like a lot of people might say position and velocity or position acceleration, something like that. I feel like that's not easy. Chiral is also a decent shout for this, but I think that's maybe a little more known. But we'll see. I hope I'm right about position and momentum, but I'm pretty sure it is. So we'll see. After we click the motorcycles, does that one count? No, is that the Lao Street View car? Anyway, position and momentum do not accept velocity or speed. Excellent. XOR, what the hell is that? I've never heard of that in my life. Okay, fantastic. Chiral, good. Composite, transistor is correct. And then autonomic or somatic. I don't think like those just weren't guessable. I don't think. I mean, if you don't know that, I think you're just not getting that. So 4 out of 6 is fine for me because again, those 2 that I didn't get, I was never ever getting. And finally, quiz number 7 is history. A casus belli, from the Latin for occasion for war, is an act or an event that either provokes or justifies an escalation of hostility into war. One such example was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand by Gavrilo Princip on June 28, 1914, and its escalation, God, I cannot talk anymore, into World War I. What is the popular name of the Serbian secret society formed by officers in the Army of the Kingdom of Serbia in 1911 and officially named Unification or Death that provided the conspirators surrounding the assassination with weapons and training? It was called the Black Hand, as famously the organization that Gavrilo Princip was a part of. Number 2, in February 1775, the British government declared Massachusetts to be in a state of rebellion after the First Continental Congress endorsed the Suffolk Resolves, and 2 months later the American Revolutionary War would be underway. The first battles of the war were fought around primarily what 2 towns in Middlesex County, Massachusetts? Lexington and Concord were the famous 2 first battle sites in the American Revolution. Number 3, the invasion of Poland by Nazi Germany on September 1st, 1939 was the final casus belli that would lead to World War II. Other than Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, what third clerical fascist client state of Nazi Germany joined the invasion? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what are things in the area that could feasibly invade Poland, and my thought was maybe Czechoslovakia. It's going to be really embarrassing if Czechoslovakia didn't exist in 1939. I don't actually know what the timeline is for like when it became Czechoslovakia and whatever, but I think it existed then, hopefully, question mark. I don't know. I might be wrong, but it could also be like Norway or something. I know that they were in cahoots with Germany, but I feel like Norway is kind of far away from Poland, so that'd be sort of weird. So I'm just going to go with Czechoslovakia because it's the best guess that I can think of. Number 4, what is the name of the 1964 naval incident named for a body of water between the United States and North Vietnam that the U.S. would use to escalate their involvement in the Vietnam War? Declassification would later reveal that the August 4th attack, which the U.S. used as its casus belli, was a false flag planted by the National Security Agency to get the U.S. involved in the war. This is called the Gulf of Tonkin incident. I don't really know much about it other than what its name is, but yeah, it's just called the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Number 5, what is the name of the 1095 mixed synod at which Pope Urban II gave a speech supporting the Byzantine reconquest of the Holy Land, which had been taken by the Rashidun Caliphate in the 7th century? The speech would result in the First Crusade, which, unlike many of its successor crusades, would result in large gains in Anatolia and the reconquest of Jerusalem. So I don't know. This is like, I don't know the names of like synods and councils of the Catholic Church. I mean, I know of a couple of them. I'm going to say Council of Nicaea, because I'm pretty sure that's one of them. I think it was important for some reason, but was it the First Crusade one? I don't know. Council of Trent is another one, but Trent I'm pretty sure was like Protestant Reformation stuff. So I'm going to say Nicaea because I don't remember what it is, and hopefully it's just the right thing. And finally, the purported presence of what 4-word term or its 3-letter acronym for a specific kind of armament was used by the United States as its casus belli for the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Despite the mission accomplished presentation 8 years before the actual end of the war, no evidence of these was ever found. I believe we just want weapons of mass destruction, or WMD. And then I'm not really sure what to enhance here. Like, I feel like, to me, Lexington and Concord feels easy, but maybe that's just American bias. Like, would Europeans know that? I'm not sure. And then Black Hand, to me, feels harder, but it's like, Europeans probably know that. So, like, I'm really not sure. I guess it depends on what percentage of the people playing these quizzes are European. Gulf of Tonkin is similar. It's like, this is kind of American history. Given I'm not very good at American history and I still know this stuff, I kind of want to go for Black Hand. Because it just feels maybe harder to me. But again, and maybe that's just the fact that I don't know European history as well because I didn't grow up there. I don't know. I mean, it's not true. I mean, I do know European history, maybe even better than American history because I find American history extremely boring. But that's just me. I'll enhance number 1, but this could be the easiest question on the quiz. I really don't know. Actually, no, number 6 surely is. But anyway, we're just going to submit that and call it a day and see how it goes. The Black Hand, Lexington and Concord, Slovakia. God damn it. Oh boy, I'm going to get flamed in the comments for that. They're going to be like, oh, how did you not know Czechoslovakia, like, wasn't a thing until the 50s or whatever? Like, I guess maybe I should know that. Okay, look, I'm better at the older the history gets, the better I know it. I don't really care as much about modern history. It's not something I know that well, and I also just don't have a mental timeline. I don't know when one thing got established and another thing got disestablished. It's something I've always struggled with. So I'm sorry for saying Czechoslovakia and Slovakia. You'll have to forgive me. Yes, that's a bad error, but I'm sorry. I just don't know these things. Gulf of Tonkin, Council of Clermont. Man, that's hard. Um, I've maybe heard of that before, but that's really difficult. I'm never pulling that. And then Weapons of Mass Destruction is correct. So that is 4 out of 6. Honestly, fine. A little ashamed about number 3, but whatever. It happens. So that is it for the quizzes for week number 1. I kind of sped through that because I'm a little tired and I need to go to bed. But I will be back in a second. I mean, its results don't come out for like a day, but I'll just record it afterwards, and I'll be back with the scores, and we will see how I did in the end. Alrighty, quick recap here of week 1 of season 12 of the LDQL. I finished in 4th place with 34.63 points. Not a crazy, or 34.43 rather, not a crazy high score, but a pretty darn hard week. I think overall a little bit lower averages than normal. So still quite happy to be 0.2 away from the top 3. But yeah, decent start to the season. I feel pretty good about how I played. Not too much else for me to say. Not going to look at the season standings because I'm a little bit behind when I'm recording this. What else is new? But yeah, I will see you guys very soon for week number 2. Thank you for watching. Hope you're glad to see LDQL back, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.